What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Christina, and in today's video I just wanted to speak real quickly on my views on feminism and what I feel are some of the pros and cons of feminism. Now, before I start with the rest of my video, I did my first ever YouTube collab with another YouTuber. The name of her channel is Childlike TV Language. She is also Dominican. And we basically did a discussion where we talked about the role of women and basically if women are, supposed to be submissive to their husbands. And we also talked about it from like a biblical perspective. So if you guys would like to hear our discussion on that, I'll leave a card. I'll leave at the end of this video, and I'll also provide a link in the comments down below. So, as you all will quickly learn, if you haven't kind of noticed already, when it comes to a lot of like socio-political issues, I'm very like middle of the road. There are certain, I guess, issues where you could say I lean a little more to the left, a little more like liberal thinking, and then there are others where I lean a little more to the right, and I have more of like a conservative, stand on it. But for the most part, I'm kind of either neutral or I don't know. It's very few things that I can say I'm very like passionate about, and that I really lean one way. So again, I always kind of like teeter towards the middle, but I can lean more to one side or more to the other. Now, I don't consider myself a feminist. I never really have. But, just looking at some of the things they stand for, and with like the abortion laws that have been going into effect lately, it just has made me think about this more. And so I just wanted, again, to kind of go over like what I feel are some of the pros and cons of feminism. So on the one hand, there's a lot of things that I feel like the feminist movement has done that I really appreciate and that I support. Things such as, the advocacy of women's rights, social equality in certain areas, things like maternity leave, bringing attention to domestic violence, sexual harassment laws, bringing awareness to the objectification of women, things like that. These are all things that I definitely feel maybe in the past they were kind of dismissed, or people knew what's happening, but people didn't really talk about it because for so long women were pretty much considered like second-class citizens, and in a lot of ways they still are, and they just didn't have rights, or they didn't have the voice in the socio-political arena to really speak up for themselves and to be heard and to really be able to fight for their rights. So in that aspect, I do appreciate what the feminist movement has done as far as, bringing equality and a voice to women in a society where, again, they were just second-class citizens, or even in other countries where women might have been treated more as just like an object, or like basically like the property of their husbands. So this has allowed a way for them to kind of break free from that. So in all those aspects, I support some of what the feminist movement does. Now, on the other hand, I feel like sometimes some feminists can get kind of extreme with it, and that's where it goes into radical feminism, which according to the definition I have here, it's the radical reordering of society in which male supremacy is eliminated, the patriarchy is shut down, and they really bring attention to how women have been systematically oppressed and marginalized. So this kind of goes in line a little bit with what me and Sophia, that's the name of the channel owner of Childlike TV Language, what we talked about whether women are submissive or whether they're supposed to be submissive. Now, this is one of those areas in which I am a little more traditional or conservative, and I do believe in the Bible. I'm a Christian, so I do believe that from a biblical perspective, women are supposed to be submissive, or that we're, in a way, subordinate to our husbands, or that we're supposed to be. I'm not married yet. But it's not that men are supposed to like exert some type of dictator like power over us. It's not that they like own us and that they just order us to do stuff and that we just listen. There is like they're supposed to be basically like, the head of the household, kind of like, the leader of the pack, and we're supposed to look to our husbands or to our men for that leadership, and to pretty much give us stability and security and protection and all these type of things. But at the same time, it's also a partnership in which love and respect is mutually given. So it's not like a militant, I'm the leader and you have to follow me type of thing. It's still there still has to be like a balance there. And I feel like feminism in a way has kind of shifted that. I don't know. I feel like in a way, sometimes it can get so pro-women that it becomes anti-man. And this is not to say that all feminists are anti-man, but I feel like some, when they get too extreme with it, they kind of start to lean towards that. And that's when you start hearing a lot of the, I'm an independent woman, I don't need no man, and all this type of stuff, which granted, I don't think any of us like need a man necessarily. But I do think, we were made for each other to have each other. And sometimes I feel like it can kind of attack the framework of marriage. And it makes people think that, marriage is not really necessary, which, I mean, it's not a necessity per se. But I do think that it is an important foundation that we can't just overlook its importance. I don't think that we can just minimize the importance of, raising children within a marriage. Granted, these days there are so many single parent households that it's just pretty much become the norm. Or, you see women just adopting kids, if they don't have a man in their life. There's a lot of alternative family setups that are now okay and that are accepted. And hey, I mean, if you choose to do one of those things, that's fine. But sometimes I feel like, I don't know, it makes it seem like you don't need to get married, or it might even kind of portray marriage in a negative light. And granted, I know, a lot of marriages do end in divorce, and it's not all perfect and rainbows and butterflies, but I do still believe in, traditional marriage, and I do still think that it is important for marriages to still occur and for young people to grow up to want to get married, if that is a possibility for them. Because according to a statistic I found, 40% of kids are now born to single mothers. And this has, a lot of studies have shown that like the effect that this can have on both boys and girls. But especially on boys, according to a study that I found, when they're raised in single parent households, not all, but sometimes, depending, on the mother and how they're raised, it can lead the boys to be less ambitious, less hopeful for the future. And it just really affects them not having that father figure around. And when you come across feminist women that are very, again, like a little too I don't know, what's the word? Like self-sufficient, too independent. Like they really feel that they don't need a man. And at the end of the day, that can sometimes end up negatively affecting their kids. Like at the end of the day, I definitely don't think that we should live in a society that is so male dominated that they basically are making decisions for us. Like I really don't feel like men should be making the decisions for women as far as what they do with their bodies. I feel like that should be up to a woman to decide what to do with her body. So I don't agree with men doing that. I don't agree with men pretty much making all the decisions. There's just certain things in which you need that feminine input, and where female opinion and contribution is very valuable. But on the other hand, there are traditional setups, like I said, like marriage and stuff, that I do feel like feminism can kind of attack, and that I don't agree with. So this is where, you know, there's like that more liberal side of me, but at the same time, there's that more conservative side that I just feel like, you know, I'm the type of person, I like to see balance. I feel that there should be a balance in everything, you know. If you want to be single, you want to be Miss Independent, cool. But don't like shame marriage or make women that want to be married, or women that do view their men as, you know, kind of like the head of the household and stuff. Like, don't shame them also, because I feel like I sometimes see that. And the other thing I just wanted to briefly touch upon, like the whole sexual liberation aspect of it. This is another area where I kind of teeter between the more liberal and the more conservative side. Like, I don't feel that women should be shamed for, you know, being, you know, free in that sense, to an extent. Like, how can I say? Like, I don't like to shame anyone, but I do feel that women should still be, I mean, men too, but, you know, women should still be mindful of, you know, how much extracurricular intimate activity they engage in. I definitely do not promote hoeing, okay? The nicest way to put it. And sometimes I feel like, you know, certain feminists can kind of glorify that, you know, and make it seem like it's just perfectly fine to be as sexually free and promiscuous as you want, and that people should just accept it. And I don't quite agree with that. So anyways, guys, that was my views on this subject. If you are a feminist, let me know your opinions down below, or if you're not a feminist, even if you're a man and you watch this video, if you want to give your opinion. Again, I'm not a feminist. I'm not a staunch liberal, but I'm also not a staunch conservative. Again, I'm more middle of the road, and it just kind of depends. I can kind of sway back and forth when it comes to this. But again, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!